Is the president worried that the tribunal judgment might be against him when he leaves the country, because the judgment will be on Wednesday?
The president,
is he thinking about that?
Unlike some political gladiators in the country, the president sees no need to threaten judicial officers. He sees no need to raise speculation against the integrity of judicial officers. He believes in the sanctity, in the integrity of the Nigerian judicial system. He believes that the great men and women on the panel will make their decisions based only on the facts before them and not based on anything else. And as a result of his faith and confidence in the judiciary, he believes that the mandate which Nigerians freely gave to him during the elections will stand.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us again here on Serious Matters at ONIF TV. Please do share videos with others, drop your comment, make them simple and civil. Well, I'm going to be bringing you details of the scheduled judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal judgment coming out as slated for Wednesday, the 6th of September 2023. So we will be taking on that. Please feel free to drop your comment, make them simple and civil. Let us know what your opinions are. However, we are open to, criticisms and all of that, but then make them very constructive so that whoever is listening or watching or reading can learn one or two things.
And that is the position of the president, and he will continue to ensure that no matter what the outcome of the judgment is, that he does his part to ensure that our institutions continue to be respected, not just by him, but so by all actors.
He's not worried that it could go either way. I mean, it could be anything. It might be on his side, it might be against him. He's not worried about that.
He's not worried simply because he knows he won the election. If you look at the strongholds,
you might win the election and the judgment of court might not be in your favor.
Well, we believe that we have presented the best case. We believe that we have the evidence on our side. We believe that we have the most talented legal team in the country that is working with the best facts available to any candidate. The fact is we won in more places across all geopolitical spreads with the right numbers in the right way. And when that happens, when the APC lost its strongholds, for example, in Lagos, in President Buhari's Katsina, and many other places, no one said that those elections were rigged. So what we are saying is where we won, people shouldn't also say it was rigged. And we believe that the facts before the judges are such that they will take the decision that is in accordance with the facts on the ground and not in accordance with any other baseless speculation.
Does it bother him also that people are worried there is a lot of pressure being put on the judiciary? Why are people thinking that the judiciary might be influenced under the president's watch?
Well, you understand, Sheum, better than anyone as a moderator of a political program over the years that there has really never been an election in our country, in the history of our country, certainly not within the Fourth Republic, that had not been contested in court, that had not had some level of litigation, some level of accusation as to what happened. Well, in 2015,
decided not to.
No, in 2015, you still had smaller parties contesting. It may not have been President Jonathan, but there was still contestation. So what we are saying is that where you have that culture of contestation, the culture of winner take all, the culture of I cannot lose, this is going to persist. But our concern is not about any of that. Our concern is making sure that the judiciary is in a position to make an independent decision based on only the merits of the case and nothing else.
Well, the first point is that the judgment has been eventually slated for the 6th of September, which falls on Wednesday. Time not specific. And so we will keep fingers crossed and all of that. Secondly, is that let me take it this way. First of all, the presidential election petition judgment to be delivered on Wednesday, 6th of September. That's the first thing. Number two is that it's going to be televised live. That means you can watch. It's going to be televised live. It's going to be televised live. And what that simply means is that you are going to be watching as it is happening live, until it happens before we now, say, oh, they actually did it. Because Nigeria is filled up of we will do something and it's something else that we see. I mean, somebody just comes up and say the generator was not working, there was no lights, that's why we couldn't, and all of that. And so, but then we believe that that's what's going to happen. So let's take it like that. So secondly, it's going to be televised live. Number 3 is that entry into the venue will be strictly upon accreditation. Strictly upon accreditation, because of the number of the number of people that would have, that would want to, gain entry into the appeal courts. Then, for that reason and for security reasons, it's going to be upon accreditation. Let me also mention here that in a bid to promote transparency and openness, these judgments, like I said earlier on, will be televised live by the interested television stations for the public to view. No important notice, like I said earlier on. Number 2 is that access to the court premises will be strictly on accreditation. Only accredited individuals will be allowed to enter for security reasons. And so I think majorly people should watch all the way from home. So number 1 is that the judgment is going to be taking place on the 6th of September, which is on Wednesday. Number 2 is that it's going to be televised live. Number 3 is that entry into the venue is going to be strictly by accreditation. Number 4 is that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has jetted out of the country to India, and so most likely will not be on ground in the country when that judgment will be taking place. And this, it gives me some goosebumps at this point, because some persons have even reacted to it like saying, oh, so it's probably a calculated, movement. But then, even if that might not be true in its totality, because it might not be true in its totality because we were not the one who arranged for the meeting that he went for. So even though we are not actually represented there. I hope you know the the only African country there is South Africa, in that is actually a part of that team. So, but then I think for the sake of growth and all of that, business investments and all of that for the country, our president is also there and all of that. So some person said that, oh, it's a calculated movement, and that's why he's not in the country at the time when, I mean, it's a critical time. I would have expected that even the president will sit down. You see, we need to come to a point to a relaxed point in this country. In Africa, we are too tensed. Our movement, everything about us is too tensed. Everything about us is too tensed. It's too rigid. A politician is moving, every other person on the road must stop. The president is coming, everybody must stand still. The president is flying in, every other plane must stop. Everything about us is rigid. I think we should come to a relaxed, we should come to that point where we are relaxed. I see no reason why Mr. President should not be in the country and watch. I mean, sit down and watch. As a matter of fact, he's actually one of the persons that have been petitioned. So, I don't say anything. For that period, I think he should have all scheduled. I mean, just to show that, look, whatever this judgment is all about. But then some persons have said that, oh, APC will do everything possible within their power to remain in power. But then nobody remains in power for life. I know people who have said that, who have behaved as if they were all in all, and today they are no more. And so if another party does not take the power away from you, life is nothing. Nobody has a total control of life. There is God who has control of life, who decides to take it and decides to leave it. So nobody has the autonomy or 100% power to say, oh, I'm the one in charge and all of that. And so Mr. President is not on ground and will not be in the country, when this judgment is taking place. So the question is, what if the judgment is against him? What if the judgment now turns out to be against him? Will he come back? Will he now come back and then go to the office as president, or what have you? Or even let's say somebody else. Let me say Atiku is announced as the winner. I mentioned Atiku. Okay, let's assume Atiku is mentioned as the winner. So what happens? Will he still come back as president of Nigeria and what have you? But then we see how things pan out. We're going to be here, giving updates as to what's happening. But then everybody's going to watch live, so we're going to connect live, and so you can watch on our YouTube platform, and so that you can, just drop your clip. Let's interact on this particular one. And so number 4 is that Mr. President will not be on ground, and number 5 is that banks are shutting down from tomorrow 5th. They will be shutting down tomorrow 5th and 6th of September. Banks will be shutting that. So it's also advisable that people should withdraw as much cash as they can, at least that can take care of 2 days, and then also I guess electronic transfers will be working, and also try as much as to buy some food, have some food available. I mean, in your house, so that even if you don't have to move around and all that. We are not envisaging that there will be any form of what have you, but then any form of brouhaha, like people will say, But then to now say but then to just be on the safe side, it's advisable that we just get a number of things. Let there be fuel in your car, all of that. Just put things in place, and of course we're sure to have the best. And of course, like we always say, all eyes on the judiciary. And somebody says, what is the eyes of the international organization, international bodies looking at on the judiciary? Oh, judiciary is, like we always say, is the last hope of the common man. And in fact, it's the hope of Nigerians. I mean, it's only in this country that people will say, we don't want you to be our leader, and then the president says, by force, by fire, I must be your leader. I don't know. It doesn't work that way anyway. Because if democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, it has to be collaborate. There must be collaboration. And so if there's no collaboration between who the leader is under a democratic government and the people he's leading, then it has become an autocratic or a military rule where nobody can talk and all of that. And so very, very important. And so banks will be shutting down, and of course for 2 days from 5th. And of course NLC is not going back on their strike, proposed strike from tomorrow, warning strike for 2 days. And so they shunned meetings with the federal government. You know, the federal was supposed to have a meeting with the federal government, and interestingly, it's always when they want to go on strike that the federal government remembers that they have to have meetings with them and all of that. And so they shun FG meetings. They have shunned meetings with the federal government. And so we're looking forward to events as they will unfold. And so the airports union directs workers to stay at home. Airports unions direct workers to stay at home. That's number 5. And number 6 is that the Court of Appeal has asked workers to stay at home as well. Court of Appeal has asked workers to stay at home. Very interesting. Breaking news. Court of Appeal asks orders workers to stay at home for presidential tribunal judgments. Orders workers to stay at home for presidential judgment. I think this is basically the chief registrar of the court Oluwaleye Oluwasegun David informed the workers in a memo on Monday, September 4, 2023. According to him, only those with tags will be allowed entry into the court premises on Wednesday, the judgment day. The memo said the measure was taken to create a conducive and peaceful atmosphere for the special sitting of the Presidential Election Tribunal. So it's a very special event, and the whole world will be watching. I'll be watching. I know you're going to be watching too. And so get ready. And of course, let there be data too, so that you can watch us, so that you can, we can interact here on Serious Matters. Of course, if matters don't make sense, we don't talk about them. And so we're talking about matters that make sense. I wanted to add one more thing that you also needed to know. That protests, all sort of foreign protests have been pegged. No protest is allowed anywhere. All around our country. Somebody said. I saw a news not quite long. DSS now reduced to government propaganda arm. That's the National Association of News, National Agency of News. Films over clampdown on protests. Clampdown on protests by the DSS. The students' body gave the warning. Sorry, National Association of Nigeria Students. Sorry, I beg your pardon. National Association of Nigeria Students. I beg your pardon. As one security agency against clamping down on Nigerians, especially students, for protesting against bad governance in the country. Well, I think the security agencies are just doing the job to see to it that there is harmony and peace in the land. So, but then I think it should just be done calmly and properly. The student body gave the warning in a statement in reaction to a statement released by Nigeria's Secret Police, the Department of State Services, DSS, claiming it had uncovered plans by unnamed people in the country to stage violent protests over sundry socio-economic challenges in the country. Well, let's hope that things, all Nigerians are asking for is a better government. All Nigerians are asking for is good governance. That's all. All Nigerians are asking for it's good governance. Okay, so we'll continue with that. Let's draw the curtain here. Thank you very much for keeping pace with us here at ONIF TV. My name is Olukunle Brahms, and this is Serious Matters.